everybody, Keith Wilson at the Trombone Shop at Schmidt Music, back with another accessory review for you. So, one of the things I love about my job is getting to see and put hands on and try out all of the new accessories that come on the market, whether it's mutes, mouthpieces, cases, whatever it might be. So, I've got a brand new mute offering for you today, specifically from OnStage. Now, a lot of folks know OnStage more from their stands, whether it's audio-visual stands, speaker stands, lighting stands, or wind stands as well. We use their trombone stands in the shop, and they do a fantastic job for the price. And they've got some other offerings in that category, but they have a few new mutes that they've added to their catalog as well here. So today, we're going to be taking a look at their TBM 7000 straight mute, aluminum straight mute here. We're going to take a play, let you listen to it, and then we're going to talk about it afterwards. Mutes, like mouthpieces and other things, are sometimes difficult to evaluate because they can be very individualistic. A certain player may have a certain sound that they're looking for, a certain response that they're looking for, and of course, different mutes respond differently with different instruments. But there are some certain criteria that I would pay attention to whenever I'm trying out a mute. I'm thinking about the sound, I'm thinking about the response, I'm thinking about intonation, I'm thinking about what happens in the upper register, lower register. Do we see any kind of squashing in the response, in the intonation, any of that? And so, honestly, the onstage mute does a nice job of ticking off a number of these boxes here. Overall, I think it's got a very kind of middle of the road timbre as far as sound goes. I wish it was just slightly more open. It is muted, it's supposed to be, but I could use just a touch more buzziness at some times. There's a little bit of darkness, which is okay. But for me in my own mute, I like to have just a little bit more brilliance, a little more energy coming out of it. But it's certainly not bad. Honestly, the sound it reminds me closest to is the Joe Ral, which kind of makes sense. It's very Joe Ral in shape in certain ways. Response overall is good. Going through into the upper range, honestly, B flat, C, even D above the staff, the response is very, very solid. I do get just a little bit of a slowdown in response in the lower register, especially getting below the staff into the trigger range. I would say down to like low E flat, low D. Still responds well. After that, then I have to start pushing a little bit more. I have to work a little bit more to really get it to center in, and it's a little bit slower to respond as well. Intonation overall is good. I would say I did notice a little bit in the lower register, again, starting off at about low F. The intonation did come up just a little bit. It wasn't bad by any means, but I did notice it was just a little bit on the sharp side. However, I didn't get a lot of problems with the upper range. I didn't get, sometimes with these mutes, the intonation starts to drop. Everything starts to become flat, and obviously we know in the upper register that causes some certain issues. I didn't get a lot of that with this mute. I thought it really did a nice job of balancing all of that. My overall response right away is it's a good mute design. Are there other offerings out there? Yeah, there are. There's stuff in comparison, I did some comparison earlier. I thought that the Dennis Wick outplayed this. But there were some others, Tom Crown and Jor-El, for example, that were at least in the same conversation. There were certain things that they did better, but this was kind of right in line with them in certain ways. So it's certainly not a bad mute at all. I think the biggest thing with it is that price point wise, it is pretty close to the Dennis Wick. It's within, it's within $10, $20 where they have it priced at right now. And that does make the conversation a little bit more interesting. I like how it plays. Would I invest in a Dennis Wick if I had a Dennis Wick available compared to this? I might at least think about it. I might compare with it. But if you don't have a Dennis Wick available and you have this, it's a very, very usable mute. Very well made. They did a nice job with the finishing, the lacquer. It's got just a little bit of heft to it, but obviously not too heavy because we don't want that with a mute either. Overall, I think they've got a good product here, especially if you can find it at the right price. I think it's very much worth its value. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video here. If you have any thoughts, questions about the mute, any other mute experiences you might want to share, feel free to leave those below in the comments. If you haven't already done so, consider giving this video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to our channel, hitting that notification button so you can see when we're getting new videos out that are hopefully going to be interesting, useful for you. And as always, you can check us out on all the major social media channels. So thanks for watching, everybody.